The Shetland Sheep is a small, wool-producing breed of sheep originating in the Shetland Isles, but is now also kept in many other parts of the world. It is part of the Northern European short-tailed sheep group, and it is closely related to the extinct Scottish Dunface.Shetlands, are classified as a landrace or unimproved breed. This breed is kept for its very fine wool, for meat, and for conservation grazing. Although Shetlands are small and slow-growing compared to commercial breeds, they are hardy, thrifty, easy lambers, adaptable and long-lived. The Shetland breed has survived for centuries in difficult conditions and on a poor diet, but they thrive in better conditions. Shetlands retain many of the primitive survival instincts, so they are easier to care for than many modern breeds. History. Up to the Iron Age, the sheep of the British Isles and other parts of northern and western Europe were small, short-tailed, horned only in the male and variable in color. Short-tailed sheep were gradually displaced by long-tailed types, leaving short-tailed sheep restricted to the less accessible areas. These included the Scottish Dunface, which until the late 18th century was the main sheep type throughout the Highlands and Islands of Scotland, including Orkney and Shetland. The Dunface died out on the mainland, Scotland, in the late 19th century, leaving its descendants limited to a few islands, including the Shetlands. The Shetland type of the Dunface has been regarded as distinct since the early 19th century or before. Breed conservation. By the early 20th century, the Shetland was perceived as threatened by crossbreeding, leading to a decline in wool quality. To combat this, the Shetland Flock Book Society was formed in 1927, and this remains the body responsible for the sheep's protection on the native islands. By the time the Rare Breeds Survival Trust was set up in the 1970s, the Shetland had become rare, and it was listed by them as Category 2. Since then, the breed has become popular with smallholders, and it is now classified as Category 6, with a UK population of over 3,000. On the mainland, the breed is governed by the Shetland Sheep Society. Export and history. Outside the Shetland Isles, a notorious Shetland sheep was a ram kept by United States President Thomas Jefferson for several years in the early 19th century. Unlike modern Shetlands, this ram had 4 horns. He was kept with about 40 other sheep on President's Square in front of the White House. In the spring of 1808, it attacked several people who had taken shortcuts across the square, injuring some and actually killing a small boy. Having been moved to Jefferson's private estate at Monticello, the ram was eventually killed after having killed several other rams. It was described by Jefferson as this abominable animal. Such aggressive Shetland rams, however, are unusual. In North America, the original Jefferson flock of Shetlands did not persist. It was not until the mid-20th century that Shetlands were imported into Canada, and then from Canada into the United States in the 1980s. Since then, a North American Shetland sheep registry has been established, and there are now thousands of the breed in the region. Modern farming. Today, Shetland sheep are mainly kept in the Shetland Isles and a handful of other locales. This is because of their ability to survive on infertile land that would otherwise be agriculturally useless. Their good-natured temperament is also a major attraction in keeping Shetland sheep. They are most commonly farmed for their prized wool, but they also may be kept for the meat. Breedy characteristics. The Shetland is one of the smallest British breeds. The ewes are usually polled and the rams usually horned, although horned ewes and polled rams do occur occasionally. The breed is noted for its very fine, soft wool and the high quality of its meat, though its smaller size limits its use in commercial meat markets. They are small-bodied animals, with no wool on their faces, noses or legs. The legs are of medium length and finely boned. They have small, erect ears. A distinguishing feature of northern short-tailed sheep is the short, fluke-shaped tail, broad at the base, tapering to a point, and covered towards the tip in hair, not wool. Shetlands occur in many different colors and patterns, most of which have particular traditional names. The rams weigh approximately 90 to 125 pounds and use about 75 to 100 pounds. Wool. The wool produced by the Shetland has historically been a valuable commodity. Shetlands produce numerous shades of wool colors, and this variety was commercially important to the wool industry of the Shetland Isles, where natural wools are often used undyed. Tweed is also produced from the coarser Shetland wool, but the Isles are best known for the multicolored knitwear and for the traditional knitted lace shawls, which are so fine they will pass through a wedding ring. Fleeces usually weigh between 2 and 4 pounds. In November 2011, Shetland wool produced in the Shetlands gained protected geographical status with a protected designation of origin classification as native Shetland wool. It was the first non-food product in the UK to receive this status. Colors and patterns. Shetland sheep can show almost all possible sheep colors and patterns, although solid white and solid moored or black are most common. Many of the colors and patterns have Shetland dialect names. These derive from the Norn language formerly spoken in Shetland, and similar names are also used in at least one other Nordic language, Icelandic. 11 main colors are recognized by the Breed Association: light grey, white, musket, shale, black, fawn, mooret, meoget, and dark brown. 30 different coat patterns and markings are recognized, many of which can occur in combination. They include catmoget, gullmoget, uglet, blesset, smerslet, socket, besuget, and bielset. Lambing. Like other primitive breeds, the ewes are highly seasonal, becoming fertile in October and November and lambing in spring or summer. On the poor grazing of the breed's native isles, the lambing percentage is about 130%. However, when the ewes are on better pasture, twin lambs are more common, especially from mature ewes. Shetland ewes are hardy, easy lambers, good mothers, and produce ample milk. Healthy lambs are born with a weight between 4 and 7 pounds. Lamb and mutton production. In truth, slow growing is something of a misnomer. Forage conversion to milk with good Shetland ewes is excellent, second only to clean ewes in the UK. Because of the Shetland ewe's forage conversion efficiency, growth in her lambs is explosive. A good Shetland ewe on adequate forage can easily wean off 150% of her body weight in purebred twins by fall. Some ewes wean singles nearly as big as themselves. A Shetland ewe on the heavy side at 80 pounds is easily capable of weaning 60 pounds purebred twins. Or what makes the Shetland ewe an optimal maternal base for grass-fed lamb production is her prowess in producing hybrid market lambs. Take the same ewe and breed her to, say, a Leicester, Texel, Charolais Berrichon ram, and keep her on the same pasture management system. In some flocks these ewes are weaning off pairs of 90 pounds twins at only 120 to 150 days old, each crossbred lamb weighing more than the dam. Shetland lamb is of the highest quality, with rave reviews from chefs and home cooks alike. Texture and flavor are very desirable, with high-yielding carcasses. The mutton also has nice flavor, with some customers and many breeders preferring mutton over lamb. Lines that have been bred with selection pressure focused on uniformity and finer fiber diameter often do not perform as optimally as lamb producers, and vice versa. Shetland breeders find it imperative that the breed maintains a balance in its ability to produce both a quality fleece and carcass, managed relatively holistically.